Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry I'm not able to be with you at the meeting live, but these are difficult times that we're all enduring now. And so I offer my greetings from my home in Berkeley, California, where I have been with my wife for the past almost 2 months now, away from my own laboratory. And I, like you, am looking forward to getting back to a normal life. But in the meantime, life goes on, and I want to offer you my greetings. I am very much looking forward to coming to visit Moldova, the home of my ancestors. My grandparents on my mother's side came from a village in Moldova, used to be called Bessarabia, called Lipcani. And I'm looking forward to my visit. I hope it will take place. Travel restrictions may get in the way, but I'm very much looking forward to coming back. My family has not been in Moldova for nearly 100 years now, so this will be the first return visit. I'm very anxious about that. Let me address the subject of your conference. This is, of course, the epidemic. It has changed our lives. But there is a positive reaction that's come of this, I will say, and that is, at least in the world of research and of biomedical science, there's an enormous effort around the world to grapple with this, not simply to control the spread of the disease, but to make plans for treatments, for vaccines, for medicines that can be used to dampen the infection and eventually prevent the infection. It's really quite remarkable, actually, how international this effort has become. There are now dozens of trials, maybe a dozen or so vaccine trials underway all around the world to try to find something optimal. This is going to be a challenge, but we have faced these challenges before. You only need to look back to the AIDS epidemic of 30 or 40 years ago to realize how serious these pandemics have been in the past and how we have overcome them. AIDS was, unlike SARS-CoV-2, the AIDS virus, HIV, was a certain death sentence for those who are infected. It wasn't 1 or 2%, it was 100% efficient killing machine. It was not possible with HIV to establish a vaccine, and there has been 30 years of frustration in failures to develop a vaccine against HIV, and yet, because it was so profoundly important, a public-private government, private industry initiative took shape to find drugs that could treat the HIV virus. And now, although it's still not a cure, there is a very effective treatment. So I would say that we need to look forward in the future to having such a sustained effort to find drugs that will treat the coronavirus, because this emergence of SARS-CoV-2 will not be the last time we will see this virus come from its zoonotic origin. There'll be another emergence of this virus, a completely different type that will not respond to any vaccine that we may be effective in producing against this particular one. We need to look forward to this possibility and not be left caught as we are now, trying to respond chaotically around the world to contain this virus. We need to think ahead. We need to build an international effort that it brings public and private groups together to discover drugs that will block the core machinery of the coronavirus. Let me just add very briefly to this point. Viruses like coronavirus or HIV have a way of evolving to change their surface structure in a way that will evade the immune system. And so we have the annual problem of finding the right vaccine for influenza. We can't predict what new strain will emerge. The only way that this can be anticipated is by looking at the various populations of flu virus that are around and then guessing what's going to come up in the next season. That's what the vaccination for flu does. It simply looks around. It can't possibly anticipate. So the virus is cleverer than we are, but the core machinery, that is the components that the virus makes itself to replicate its nucleic acid, to produce the particles, these can't change so much. That machinery can't evolve that rapidly. And so drugs, such as were effective in treating HIV, can, I'm certain, can eventually be discovered that will defeat this virus just as we've defeated HIV. So we must not allow ourselves to be caught as we are in this pandemic. We must look ahead. We must invest in biomedical science and in the pharmaceutical industry around the world to keep this from happening again. So that's my more hopeful message for your conference, and I wish you well. I wish that we all get over this and can get back to our normal social interactions. Thank you very much.
Dear Professor SCHEKMAN, thank you very much. On behalf of the scientific community of the Republic of Moldova, I would like to thank you for this welcome address. And well, we are looking forward to welcoming you to Moldova this summer.